I think I have booked the best Royal Rumble match of all time. And I know that's saying something because there's been a lot of Royal Rumbles, and also there's been a lot of fantasy bookings of Royal Rumbles as well. But I think I've gotten the best one out of any fantasy booking Royal Rumble there's ever been, or any Royal Rumble that's ever actually happened. That's a big statement to say, but bear with me. I am going to book the 2023 Men's Royal Rumble match, and I want you guys to decide whether or not this is good enough to be considered, maybe if it would happen, the best Rumble of all time. Now, hey, real quick before this video gets started, shout out to just Adam Blampier and Parts Unknown. This is literally where I got the idea from. I'm literally just ripping the idea off of this video. So this is a one-time thing. So hopefully, you know, if he ever sees this, he's not too angry. But yeah, just wanted to say that's my inspiration for this video. Let's get it started, I guess. There's some rules to this. There are going to be no tag teams in it, with the exception of 2 tag teams, but it's going to make sense storyline-wise because one of the tag teams is normally in a rumble anyway, and the other one it's gonna make sense for a story. So yeah, there's not gonna be any, you know, Street Profits, Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders, Hit Row, Maximum Male Models, none of that. There's gonna be none of that. And there's also going to be a couple exclusions. I like to not have people in the rumble who are very obviously not going to win, like the tag teams. Like, no tag team guy is ever going to win a Royal Rumble. So why do I have to sit there and watch Chad Gable come out at number 15 and Angelo Dawkins come out at number 16? It's not happening. Either break up with your partner or stay in your tag team lane. All right, buddy? Anyway, there's going to be some exclusions, though, besides the tag teams. Just people that I didn't have anything for, but also people that and I'm sure you would never believe would win a Royal Rumble at this stage in the game ever. With the exception of two people, there's 2 big exclusions here, and I'll get to those in a second. But the people that I have excluded are Dolph Ziggler, which is like, whoa, you don't have Dolph Ziggler in here? I don't. None of the Brawling Brutes, so no Butch, no Ridge Holland, no Sheamus, no Dominic Mysterio, no Damian Priest, no Baron Corbin, no Logan Paul, no Mustafa Ali, Mustafa. No Cedric Alexander, no Omos, no Pat McAfee, no Robert Roode, no Veer Mahan. And here are the 2 big ones, folks. And bear with me because you might be mad after I say that I didn't include them in this Rumble. There is no Karrion Kross, and there is no Randy Orton. I know. There is no Orton in this match. It honestly got to the point where I couldn't even fit him in with the things that I wanted to accomplish in this Rumble, because this Rumble is accomplishing things. This Rumble is the first Rumble under the Triple H regime, and this is going to be a huge opportunity to really showcase what the future is going to look like for WWE. You know what I mean? Triple H is a smart man, and he is going to want to do something big, I'm sure, for WrestleMania. So I couldn't fit Orton in there. There's a lot of exciting people that have been in WWE and returned recently, and there's a lot of people that have been rumored and speculated to, you know, come back to the company, and that's some of the people that I included in this. And now Orton could have definitely been in here with the exception of some other people, but sorry. Let's just say either Orton or Cross fought the Universal WWE Champion on the card, and that's why he's not in this match. Let's just say Orton fought Reigns, so you don't want to kill me. And Cross, I don't know, fighting for the United States Championship. I don't know, the Intercontinental. I don't know. But here are the rules for this. Everything that happens in this Rumble has to be possible. Now, I don't want to just be like, hey, you know, Ric Flair might have another, he wants to come out, it's going to be a huge pop. It's going to be none of that. It's going to be stuff that has been speculated, it's going to be something that's been heavily rumored, and some stuff that's going to be heavily implied, because there are a decent amount of returns on this in this Rumble, again, for storyline purposes. But it's got to be stuff that is 100% possible and that could be explained. There is one thing that I have to explain very hard. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, some backstory to this Rumble. The WWE Universal Champion is still Roman Reigns in this universe. Roman Reigns is still the top dog, the big dog, the head of the table, which means he would have beaten Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle, which I don't know if that's happened because I am recording this 2 days before that event even happens. So if this is really outdated, then I apologize. But in my universe, Roman Reigns is still the champion. That is pretty much everything. I know I took about 5 minutes to explain it. So let's get into it with number one. Number one entrant into the Royal Rumble 2023 is MJF. Listen, please don't click off of the video, please. I'm begging you. Please don't click off. I know you said everything has to be possible and explained. Bear with me, because I'm going to explain to you why I feel like this is something that can happen. Hopefully, again, by the time this video goes up, it's not too outdated, a week from now, where maybe MJF came back at all. I don't know. But listen, this year's Rumble, which I was actually at, Mickie James, an Impact superstar, granted she's a former WWE person, but she was able to come to the ring with an Impact Championship around her waist. This was while Vince McMahon was still in charge. You know what I mean? We had some cross-promotional things going on, and everyone fantasy booked, oh my God, is an AEW guy going to come in there as well? Turns out, no. But I think this would be a huge thing for Triple H to do to really kind of cement, his vision for the future of wrestling. MJF, I believe, is going to go to WWE in 2024. Now, whether or not he has a storyline going back to AEW is one thing, but I do genuinely think that he's going to go to WWE just because I feel like he would thrive in WWE, especially now that Triple H is in charge. And I think that having him come to the Royal Rumble just for this one appearance until his contract expires in AEW would be something that, Tony Khan would totally allow, because, even though WWE is the enemy, having one of your wrestlers in the Royal Rumble, it causes so much exposure where people have to tune in on Wednesday to see what happens, when MJF goes back to AEW, because we're not going to go a whole another 6 months without seeing him on television. He's going to appear in All Elite Wrestling the next week. He's got to. I hope I've explained that enough, because MJF is the number one entrant. It's going to be a big shock pop for everybody. He walks to the ring and everyone's like, oh my God, this is the first appearance of MJF since he's left, and he's in the Royal freaking Rumble. Are you kidding me? He comes down, he grabs the microphone and cuts a promo about how the business is trying to blacklist him. The business is trying to pretend like he doesn't exist, okay? And that's not going to happen. He's here in WWE to take over the entire wrestling industry. He's going to go on to WrestleMania. He's going to win the WWE Championship and prove to all the boys back in his original company that he should be the star, not certain people like, why not? Let's name drop people like CM Punk. That should be something huge. Again, I know this is the most outlandish thing in this Rumble. This is the most thing that I really have to kind of explain, and I know that it's improbable, but I think that it is possible, and I would like to imagine that this is something that could happen and should happen, maybe even in this 2023 Royal Rumble. I don't know. So MJF grabs the microphone. He's talking. We already went over that. He said, listen, I don't care who it is. I don't care who number 2 is. I'm going to hurt them. I'm going to injure them. Or even worse, I don't care who it's got to be. Bring them out here, because my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm going to WrestleMania. And out comes number 2. Drew McIntyre, with hopefully the Broken Dreams theme song. Now, in my world, I would actually kind of like for this not to happen at Clash of the Castle and happen, I don't know, in this match. I don't know, but if not, it's whatever. It's going to have the same effect because that theme song is so effing fire. Drew McIntyre comes out to a huge pop. He's going to come back. He's going to try to right the wrongs of Clash of the Castle and go on to WrestleMania to take on Roman Reigns. He goes down to the ring. He's marching down. And before Drew McIntyre gets in the ring, MJF leans over the ropes, talking trash to Drew, and spits in his face. Spits in his face. Drew oh my God, incensed, runs into the ring, causing MJF to run the other way outside of the ring towards the commentary table. Drew follows him because, I mean, you can't just spit in my face and think I'm not going to beat the crap out of you. Meanwhile, MJF puts the diamond ring on, knocks Drew McIntyre out cold. Now, the match has started. You know, we've got both entrants in the ring, and I mean, they spilled out of the ring, but they're fighting. MJF knocked out Drew McIntyre. Not only that, he takes a steel chair and he breaks it over his back multiple times. Boom, boom, boom. And maybe does some other stuff like hit him with another weapon. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Just really hurt Drew McIntyre and throw him over the barricade. MJF looks all proud of himself. Crowd's booing. He gets back in the ring and he's like, I told you that I'm going to WrestleMania no matter what. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're as big and bad as Drew McIntyre. I am going to win this thing because I'm better than you. And as he's talking, the clock's counting down. The clock's counting down from 10, 9, 8, and he's just sitting there cutting a whole promo like he does best. I'm not going to try to write a promo for him. I'm sure he could do a way better job than I can. But the clock strikes 0. And again, maybe this Rumble, as I'm saying it out loud, is very outlandish. But the number 3 entrant in the Royal Rumble 2023. Let me just paint the picture for you. The clock strikes 0 and nothing happens yet. There's no music playing, but a little video, familiar video, appears on the Titantron of the Firefly Funhouse theme song. The video evaporates on screen and the lights start going off one by one and everyone is going insane. Everyone's freaking out. MJF's in the ring looking around like, are you kidding me? Like, no, this is not possible. The lights go out. You can see, because, you know, you can kind of see when the lights go out. You can see MJF run outside of the ring once again for the Fiend's music to hit. Number 3 in the Royal Rumble is the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, making his return in this match. Now, you might be asking yourself, how are you putting the Fiend in the Royal Rumble and just expecting this to, like, work? You know what I mean? You have MJF, an incapacitated Drew McIntyre, and the Fiend Bray Wyatt walking to the ring. Now, he does the whole entrance. The crowd is going to go crazy for this. Obviously, it's the Fiend. Come on, man. He's coming to the ring. He's doing this whole, you know, lantern mask thing. And MJF is sitting out there, like, looking pretty scared. Now, the Fiend's entrance is long. And MJF, you know, very annoyed at this and very scared at the fact that, you know, the Fiend might be coming to get his hands on him, grabs one of the commentators' headsets and goes, hasn't it been like 3 minutes already? Start the freaking clock. This guy's taking his sweet time. It's been 90 seconds. Start the clock. This is WWE. They're very inconsistent with the timing. 90 seconds is not 90 seconds. It's whenever they decide to do the countdown from 10. So we're going to play with that a little bit in this Rumble because there's going to be some things that definitely can't take 90 seconds. But, you know, it's supposed to be. So MJF is complaining about the 90 seconds thing. He's got, you know, the commentator's microphone in his hands screaming, start the clock, start the clock. And they do, you know, because that's a fair point. You can't really just call them out and them not do anything about it because it's supposed to be 90 seconds. The Fiend enters the ring and he's just staring at MJF. The lights come back on. Crowd's going nuts. MJF is looking at him. 10, 9, 8, 7. Clock strikes 0. Number 4 is Sami Zayn. Now, hopefully, Sami Zayn has been, you know, turned into a babyface by this point. I think it is starting to happen already by the time of this video. I think that this is something that should happen. And I think that something that would really make the crowd get behind Sami Zayn is having him not back down from somebody like The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. So you see MJF on the outside of the ring. You see Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, standing there watching MJF. Sami Zayn comes out, and The Fiend turns around to look towards the ramp because MJF's not going to get in that ring anytime soon. Sami Zayn's looking at The Fiend. He hesitates a little bit, but he's Sami Zayn. He's spent the last 5 years being a coward. Not tonight. It's not happening tonight. Sami Zayn runs into the ring and starts going at The Fiend. But, you know, It's the Fiend. So he grabs Sami Zayn by the shirt and throws, or maybe just the shoulders, because I don't think he's going to be wearing a shirt at this point, grabs the shoulders and launches him into the corner, WWE 2K22 style, where he just kind of throws him. And Sami Zayn's there. Fiend tries to run at Sami to do that little splash thing that he does in the corner, this thing. You know what I mean? Sami Zayn ducks it, runs around to the other corner, comes back, haluva kick to the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Sami Zayn goes back, just like at Battleground 2016, goes back for another one, comes back, mandible claw by the Fiend, because he's the Fiend. I know, it really shouldn't be a character that can take 18 finishers anymore, but I think one haluva kick, especially because he hasn't done anything to anybody else so far, is fine, because he could do a mandible claw. Sami Zayn goes down, passes out, and as Sami Zayn is down there, and the Fiend is about to pick him up to throw Sami Zayn out of the Royal Rumble, boom, from behind, MJF hits the Fiend from behind with a steel chair. The Fiend is obviously mad about this, goes for a clothesline to MJF, MJF ducks it, and then, because, listen, and I will explain this in a second, MJF thwacks the Fiend over the head with a steel chair. Yes, it's a chair shot to the head. And I know, this is something that should not probably happen because it is dangerous. However, the Fiend has taken a chair shot to the head before, all right? From Hell in a Cell 2019, it's happened. And listen, you know, he could get his hand up. You know what I mean? There's no shame in blocking a shot, even if it's really obvious that he did it. The Fiend gets hit in the head with a chair, and he stumbles over. The clock counts down from 10 again. It's another return at number 5. It's Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is number 5, which is another name that is heavily rumored to be coming back to WWE. He comes out, and the crowd's like hopefully excited for this. He comes out, does this whole Raw thing, MJF kind of looking up the ramp like, oh my God. Meanwhile, he thinks that the Fiend is taken out. You know what I mean? He thinks that, you know, that chair shot really did the trick, but the Fiend, he gets up, and he is right behind MJF, but while he's right behind him, standing behind him, MJF doesn't notice this, but the Fiend doesn't attack him. The Fiend is staring right at Braun Strowman, because Braun Strowman was one of the last 2 people that the Fiend has ever fought before leaving WWE. He's still got a beef to settle with him. Braun Strowman is locking eyes with the Fiend as well when he gets in the ring. So you got the Fiend in the side of the ring that's closest to the commentary table. You got MJF in the middle staring at Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman standing there staring past MJF at the Fiend. Now MJF realizes this. He's looking, he goes, oh, they don't want me. They want to fight each other. Like, this is great for me. I'm going to let these guys fight. He gets out of the ring, and he's proud of himself. He doesn't have to get in any type of conflict. Claymore out of nowhere from Drew McIntyre to the outside. He's back in it, baby. Drew McIntyre's back in it. You got Drew and MJF now. This is going to be, for a little while now, them just brawling all over the arena. While the Fiend and Braun Strowman are brawling inside the ring. You got MJF and Drew in the crowd duking it out, doing all whatever they want to each other. The Fiend and Braun Strowman now, you know, power slam, whatever, Sister Abigail if you want to do it. I don't know. The Fiend manages to mandible claw Strowman, and he gets him, and he's bringing him closer to the ropes, and he does it so powerfully because the Fiend is, you know, a monster. He mandible claws Strowman eventually. Let's have him fight for a little while, but the Fiend is able to mandible claw Strowman over the top rope and out of the ring. It's possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. Braun Strowman is the first man eliminated in the 2023 Royal Rumble match. Now, Sami Zayn comes out of nowhere, bang, with a kendo stick. Beats the crap out of the Fiend with a kendo stick. The Fiend did that great. I think he's done this before with the strap match. He just lets Sami Zayn whack him in the chest over and over again. Just keep hitting him with the freaking kendo stick. Fiend laughs. Sister Abigail to Sami Zayn. And as this is happening, the clock is counting down once again to number 6, Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods has a history of being scared of Bray Wyatt. We never had a proper ending to this story. It was just Xavier Woods is a little bit of a coward. And just like Sami Zayn, he doesn't want to be a coward anymore. He comes down to the ring to let um to fight the Fiend, and the Fiend's ready for it. The Fiend's you know, he knows the history between, I guess, technically himself and Xavier Woods. All of a sudden, boom, low blow from Sami Zayn to the Fiend. Now listen, why is the Fiend floored by a nut shot? It's happened before. Why can't it happen again? This doesn't completely eliminate the Fiend though, as Sami Zayn and Xavier Woods grab the Fiend and try to throw him out of the ring. They're sitting there struggling. You know that spot where they're at the ropes and they're like, can they actually eliminate the guy? Can they do it? Can they get him over the top rope? Just for MJF to run back into the ring and throw Sami Zayn and Xavier Woods over the ropes, thinking that he's eliminated all three men, by the way. He eliminates Sami Zayn, eliminates Xavier Woods, and thinks he eliminates the Fiend as well in one swift motion. Sami and Woods get eliminated, but the Fiend hangs on. MJF sitting there celebrating. He's so excited. Meanwhile, the Fiend comes back into the ring. Drew is also back in the ring. I mean, they were fighting. There's not really one that got the better hand over the other. MJF was just able to escape Drew long enough to get back into the ring to throw Sami Zayn and Xavier Woods out of the ring. And Drew goes into the ring, immediately goes for a Claymore on MJF, but bang, hits the Fiend, who stumbles through the middle ropes. MJF runs at Drew, who just clotheslined the Fiend, clotheslines him out of the ring, eliminating Drew McIntyre from the Royal Rumble. Drew, went for MJF, hit the Fiend, whatever. It's a Rumble, every man for himself, but MJF took advantage of this, distraction by getting Drew McIntyre out of the Royal Rumble. MJF has had a pretty good showing so far. He's eliminated 3 people. We're going to see how that plays out. While the Fiend, I'm just reading off my notes here, so forgive me. I'm not going to try to make this as professional as possible. But the Fiend gets back up. The Fiend gets in the ring, and MJF leaves. He gets out of the ring and runs away. We don't know when he's coming back, but he completely hightails it out the ring. It is just him and the Fiend, nobody to help. He gets out of there through the crowd. He's gone. We're not seeing him for a little while. Because this is a segment that I'd like to call The Fiend versus people that I'd like to see the Fiend fight. This is the biggest return of the night so far. So I'd like to spend the next little while having the Fiend just fight people. Because isn't that what the Fiend is supposed to do? He's supposed to be this monster who fights people. So we're going to let the next couple entrants speak for themselves. I'm not going to, write a spot fest for every single one of these next entrants, but what it's pretty much going to be is somebody entering, having a, let's say 2-minute brawl with the Fiend. We're going to let these guys showcase what they have, do their signature moves, have everyone think, maybe this is the time where the Fiend is about to get eliminated out of the Royal Rumble, only for the Fiend to, come back, do his fiendish things, and eliminate the person that is coming at him. First of all, sorry, is number 7, which is Gunther. Gunther comes out. We'll have just him chop the crap out of the Fiend, do his whole Gunther things. These are all going to be things that could set up potential matches for the Fiend in the future. And I'd very much like to see Gunther versus the Fiend happen, somewhere down the line. So, they brawl, whatever. Again, I'm not going to write a whole thing for it, but Gunther is, looking good. But the Fiend, boom, gets him out of nowhere, gets Gunther out of the Rumble. I know that might be a little controversial. I don't want him to be eliminated so quickly, but it's the Fiend, and Gunther had a really good showing. There's not too much room for him in the Rumble anyway. Number 8 is Braun Breaker from NXT, the NXT champion for now. Braun Breaker runs down, same thing. Again, I'm not going to write a whole thing for it. Fiend eventually gets him out of there. Number 9, Finn Balor. Not the Demon yet, but Finn Balor, who has, again, a decent little showing. Fiend gets him out of there. We count down the clock again to number 10, Bobby Bobby Lashley gets in the ring. They do their whole brawl thing. Bobby Lashley even hits a spear, whatever. Fiend still manages to get Bobby Lashley out of there. You know, give them some time in between these things. Now, I know this sounds like a complete ripoff of the 2020 Royal Rumble where Brock Lesnar, you know, eliminated everybody for like the first like half of the Rumble. And I'm glad that you think that way, because number 11 is Brock Lesnar. Number 11 is Brock Lesnar. He comes out, and I mean, this just writes itself, doesn't it? I mean, come on now. Lesnar and Fiend fight for a long time. Let's let the crowd enjoy this for a little bit. Let's extend the clock just a tiny little bit. Brock Lesnar and the Fiend are duking it out. And they even, you know, end up doing, you know, an anything you can do, I can do better thing by you know, showcasing, listen, I'm the bigger monster here. And they kind of demonstrate that by beating up people like, you know, number 12 Theory. You know, why don't we hit our signature moves and all on these guys to show, no, I'm the monster in this ring. I'm the effing monster. Theory is made short work of and tossed out of there by, you know, who cares. Number 13 is R-Truth. Sorry, R-Truth, but you're not going to be in there for longer than like 20 seconds. You know what I mean? These two are, you know, brawling in between entrance. I said, you know, let's extend the clock a little bit. We don't really need to, especially if they're going to be eliminating Theory and R-Truth pretty quickly there. They're just duking it out in between all of these entrants. Brock and Fiend fight some more, you know, especially after they eliminate R-Truth, until Brock Lesnar picks up the Fiend and F5s him out of the ring, eliminating the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. It's, you know, Brock Lesnar, especially if this is going to be doing what I am trying to accomplish here, and that's set up a Fiend versus Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania. Yes, please. I think this is giving Brock Lesnar some very much needed credibility after not winning a match since January of last year. Sorry, no, Elimination Chamber. He hasn't won a match since Elimination Chamber, which is very funny to me. So if we want people to think, you know, the Fiend is obviously going to beat him, let's have Brock eliminate the Fiend, because why not? And it's in this that Brock Lesnar doesn't realize, well, I'll get to that in a second. Fiend, you know, the lights go off. Lights come back on. Fiend is gone, because why do we want the Fiend to just do a, man, I lost, walk out of the arena? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to have, you know, the lights turn off, come back on. Brock Lesnar's like, where, like, what? This guy's weird. Like, where'd this guy go? And he's confused. So confused that he doesn't see MJF run back into the ring from behind and eliminate Brock Lesnar. You know, this would be a huge moment for anyone watching this. You know, MJF, if you don't like him, if you didn't want him to be there in the first place, you're probably really mad. And if you did want him to eliminate him, it's, oh my God, MJF just eliminated Brock Lesnar. How could this get any crazier? I got 140, ladies and gentlemen. Number 14, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is here. He's back. He's back from his booby injury. He's celebrating. The crowd's going crazy. That is going to be the winner of the Royal Rumble. Maybe. We'll see. I'll let you know. Cody Rhodes comes into the ring. The time is mostly, you know, celebrating, just like the Fiend, how he took forever to get into the ring in the first place. Cody Rhodes enters the ring, and it takes a while because, you know, pyro and stuff. And they do a whole stare down, Cody Rhodes and MJF, of course, the history that they have together. And before Cody gets his hands on MJF, the clock counts down once again to number 15, Seth freaking Rollins. Seth Rollins runs down to the ring, and this time is now spent having Seth and MJF double team Cody Rhodes. They're on him, you know, trying to go after the injured pectoral muscle again, you know, stomping him in the corner, doing a whole bunch of double team moves to Cody Rhodes because boo, heels, come on, no, boo. We like Cody, boo, come on, boo. Can anyone save Cody Rhodes from this double team? Probably not, because number 16 is the Miz, who comes down and tries to team up with Seth Rollins and MJF on Cody Rhodes. Seth Rollins goes along with it, and so does MJF, kinda. MJF kind of lets The Miz get close to him. They're about to, all team up together. Even the Miz puts that fist in, that shield fist. Come on, fellas, put your fists in. MJF goes, you know what? No. MJF grabs the Miz by the neck, throws him out of the ring, and the Miz is gone. MJF leans over the rope and says, I am not like you, Miz. Like everyone thinks that I am. I'm better than you. And you know it. That whole promo where CM Punk called him a less famous Miz, it got to him. It definitely got to him. So let's, on his way back to AEW, let's give MJF, some credibility here. He's not the Miz. Come on now. He's not the Miz. Rollins was confused. Whatever. He doesn't, it's not like a babyface turn, but it's just like, okay, that was some beef that, I guess you guys had to work out. And they both continue to attack and assault Cody Rhodes. Can anyone save Cody from this double team? Yeah, number 17 is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens goes right after MJF because you're not going to make a name for yourself in my company. This is the Kevin Owens show. Thank you very much. Rollins gets hit with a crossroads by Cody Rhodes, who comes back. The numbers game, it's even now. Seth gets hit with a crossroads. Owens hits the stunner on MJF, leading to Cody clotheslining MJF over the top rope, eliminating him, because I don't think that there's anybody appropriate enough to eliminate MJF from the Royal Rumble other than Cody Rhodes. I think it was a nice cameo. This is not going to be something that sets up something bigger in the future until MJF eventually does go to WWE, which again I think is going to happen. I think it's a cameo where people thought, how far is it going to go? It got to number 17 where MJF gets eliminated from the Rumble by Cody Rhodes. I think the crowd would pop huge for this. I think this would be a big moment. I said in my notes here that this is more of a triple threat feel now. It is. I'm dumb because there's 3 people in the ring. I'm stupid. We have Owens, Rollins, and Cody Rhodes in the ring. We're going to add some people here. We're going to do some very quick things because the Rumble so far has been a big story. It hasn't been, a bunch of people in the ring trying to eliminate each other. So we're going to add some people in there. We're going to add number 18, Tommaso Ciampa. We're going to add number 19, Matt Riddle. We're going to add number 20, Ricochet. And number 21, Kofi Kingston, who does his Kofi spot this year, which I hope works. It didn't work last year when, they tried something, but I'm going to try something very risky. And we've already had the thing where it didn't work last year. So, 2 years in a row if it happens, it's like sad, but it was a big risk, whatever. What I want the Kofi spot to be is I want somebody to attempt to eliminate, Kofi. Let's say Kevin Owens. And Kofi tries to springboard back into the ring. He gets on the top rope, tries to springboard. Kevin Owens grabs Kofi, pushes him, launching him through the commentary table, breaking it. The commentary table is broken. Now, his feet aren't on the ground. His feet are in the remains of this table. You know what I mean? It's the table remains. It's not the floor. It's just like the rubble of the announce table. Kofi's out for a little while here. We're going to add a few more people. Shinsuke Nakamura at number 22. Rey Mysterio at number 23. So you got 8 people in the ring currently. We'll go over it once again. Owens, Rollins, Cody, Ciampa, Riddle, Ricochet, Nakamura, and Rey Mysterio. And then, of course, the 9th guy, Kofi Kingston, is through the commentator's table, pretty hurt and incapacitated. So I want to get as many people in here as possible. That's why I kind of rushed through this. So number 24, whose music is the Usos, is playing. They both come out. Both of the Usos come out. And Jimmy looks pretty remorseful. He's just like, he's kind of looking down. And he looks over at Jey Uso, who's furious. He's angry. Jey Uso was supposed to be number 24. But he's not number 24. Number 24 is Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, the WWE Universal Champion, comes out and says, listen, I am sick of having these rumbles with people who will never, ever beat me in a million years. getting an opportunity. I've beaten pretty much half of the guys in that ring, more than half, more than once. And I'm not gonna let this happen again. I'm not gonna give WrestleMania another boring main event. I'm going to get in there. I am taking Jey Uso's spot in the Royal Rumble, and there will be no WrestleMania main event because I am going to be the head of the table forever. The Bloodline, Roman Reigns and the Usos, run into the ring. Now, of course, the Usos are not in the ring. At least they're not supposed to be, even though Jey Uso is, supposed to be in the Rumble. Roman Reigns is taking his spot, but all three of them get in there. It's no DQ, so what are you going to do? It's no disqualification. Everyone's been hitting each other with weapons. The Usos and Roman Reigns spend the time eliminating pretty much everybody. Some heartbreaking eliminations. You got Ciampa getting double teamed by the Usos and eliminated. Roman making short work of Rey Mysterio and Shinsuke Nakamura. Maybe a triple power bomb out of the ring if you can to Ricochet. And Kevin Owens gets speared and eliminated. So we got the Bloodline, two of which aren't even in the match, and Rollins and Cody. They're forced to team up. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are forced to team up in this Rumble against Roman Reigns, who's trying to take WrestleMania away from both of them, with the Usos, who literally isn't even, in the match. You're not supposed to be here. Cody and Rollins team up, and the numbers game, is too much at first. Obviously, it's 3-on-2. The Usos are very credible competitors. We got to even these numbers up, so let's have number 25 come out, Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano comes out at number 25. Multiple finishers are hit to the Bloodline. Curb stomp to both Usos. Super kick and a curb stomp and a crossroads to Roman Reigns. Crossroads to both Usos as well, taking the Usos completely out of the match. They're out of the ring, incapacitated. Roman Reigns has not been eliminated yet. Rollins gets fired up, hyping up Cody and Gargano. Let's get Roman Reigns out of here right now. All of a sudden, Cody Rhodes hits a crossroads on Seth Rollins. And the crowd's like, what? What happened? Cody Rhodes grabs Seth Rollins by the hair, chucks him out of the ring, and eliminates him. Whoa, okay. We were they were teaming up at first, but I guess, Seth did a lot of stuff to Cody, so maybe this is some well-deserved revenge for Cody Rhodes. It's just weird because, they were on good terms for a little while there. Anyway, number 26 comes out and it's AJ Styles. We get some cool triple threat action here with Johnny Gargano, Seth Rollins, and AJ Styles. Roman Reigns is completely out. Let's just say he rolled out of the ring, so no one, there's not an excuse to say, hey, he eliminated him. All of a sudden, in this triple threat action, Cody Rhodes pokes AJ Styles in the eye, hits a crossroads, and throws AJ Styles out of the Rumble. Whoa, dude. I mean, I get it. It's every man for themselves, but you poke the guy in the eye? You're that desperate to eliminate him that quickly? You gave him a crossroads and poked him in the eye and got him out of here? It seems a little cheap to me. The crowd, is probably going to be like, what are you doing? Cody starts to get really aggressive with Johnny Gargano. He's biting his forehead in the corner, stomping a mud hole into him. And I'm sure the crowd is booing at this point because, what are you doing, Cody? Cody notices, and Cody really does not like being booed by a crowd. So he's like, wait, whoa, hold on a second. He's like, okay, no, I got this. I'm sorry. Maybe he's taking it a little too far. He wants to win, but I think he wants to do things the right way. He goes back to pounding on Roman Reigns. He gets Roman Reigns, he puts it back in the ring, starts unloading on him. Roman's trying to block. He's still conscious. He's trying to block a little bit. Cody's trying to do the right thing. Cody's trying to do things, fair. Which leads to number 27, Edge, coming out to the ring. Cody, and he really wants to be, somebody that the fans are cheering again. So he shakes Edge's hand. He's like, listen, man, it's okay. I'm doing things the right way. I'm shaking Edge's hand. Now there's some fatal four-way action going on right now. You got Cody, Edge, Roman, and Gargano, fighting. Roman's, back up. He's the tribal chief. I'm sure he can shake off, 2 or 3 finishers after, how long has it been? 5 minutes? I'm sure he's fine. There's some fatal four-way action going on. Crowds, into this, all of a sudden Kofi Kingston's starting to stir a little bit. He gets up, crowd's going nuts. He's like, oh my God, I'm not eliminated. Kofi makes a bridge from the announce table to the ring, with all the remains of the table, gets back into the ring, and, hopefully there's a huge pop that happens to it. And as soon as Kofi Kingston gets into the ring, Cody Rhodes clotheslines Kofi over the top rope, completely eliminating him literally immediately as Kofi Kingston gets back into the ring, which always happens anyway, but, this is like, what? Now, what I'm trying to do is not outright turn Cody Rhodes heel, but I'm trying to give WWE the option to do so in the future. There's this whole villain that thinks he's a hero complex that's in Cody Rhodes, and I think that opening the door to something like that in the future would be huge. I think it would be pretty interesting, and it'd be, something to tune in for, to see what happens next with Cody Rhodes. It's not an outright heel turn. You might be asking how I, redeem Cody Rhodes for these heelish actions. You will see how I do that. Roman manages to get some momentum back from the beatdown that happened before. He spears Gargano, spears Cody, guillotines Edge, eliminating Edge. He picks up Johnny Gargano, eliminates Johnny Gargano. Roman Reigns is the tribal chief. I need some credibility here. Crowd's going, hey, boo, what are you doing? Gargano and Edge are out of here. He picks up Cody, who's trying so hard to resist Roman Reigns' elimination. And the clock strikes down from 10. The clock counts down from 10. To number 28, Jimmy Uso. Now, mind you, Roman was never supposed to be in the Rumble anyway. He took Jey Uso's spot. And if Jey Uso was going to be in the Royal Rumble, which he should be, because he was main event Jey Uso like 2 years ago, we got to have Jimmy Uso in there as well. Jimmy Uso, whose spot, was not taken by Reigns, limps down to the ring. He comes out hurt. He limps down to the ring, and Roman's sitting there barking orders at him, telling him to help, eliminate Cody Rhodes. Jimmy Uso just stands there. He stands there in the ring, looking at Reigns. Roman just took a huge opportunity away from his brother. You know what I mean? He showed no remorse for the Usos getting unnecessarily hurt at all. Like me and my brother are hurt, man. Like, this is because of you. You made us do this. You made us, you took our spot. You took my brother's spot. Jimmy looks at Roman and he goes, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this, Roman. Roman goes, what? What are you talking about? Roman charges Jimmy Uso, and boom, super kick by Jimmy into a crossroads. Roman tries to get up quickly, stumbles towards the ropes. Cody Rhodes, boom, clothesline out of the ring. Roman Reigns is eliminated by Cody Rhodes. Jimmy Uso looks at Cody Rhodes, gives him a little nod, and he leaves the ring. He leaves the ring Shawn Michaels style, how he grabs the ropes, kind of flips over it. Jimmy Uso, maybe this is going to be, it's not my time. You know what I mean? Me and my brother are hurt. And, this whole storyline is going to be about, hopefully, how the Usos just don't want anything to do with Roman Reigns anymore. They don't want to fight you anymore because we know that you're going to beat us. You beat my brother twice before. I know you're going to beat me, obviously. This is not about being the champion anymore, Roman. We were in the Royal Rumble in the first place to, take away somebody else's opportunity. You were always going to win in the end, but I don't want it to be like this anymore. That's what the whole storyline will hopefully be from that point out. And that's why, Jimmy eliminated himself in the first place. Roman is furious. Roman is incensed. He's throwing stuff at ringside, kicking the steps, crowd's chanting at him like, hey, you suck or whatever. Roman's furious. He's like, hey, smacking the barricade. He's furious. And as this is happening, the clock counts down from 10 to bring out number 29, The Rock. The Rock is number 29 in the Royal Rumble match. I think that coming out at 30 and being the big return is outdated at this point. They've done it so many times, and I think we can do it again in the future, but I think as of right now, there is absolutely no need to keep doing this, especially because we had this with Brock Lesnar the year before. You know what I mean? We don't need, these 30 entrant surprises anymore. The Rock comes out at number 29. The crowd is going crazy. It's The Rock. He's here. He's here. He's fired up. He's going to enter the Royal Rumble right now. Cody Rhodes is sitting there like, yo, what's going on? Rock is headed to the ring, and Roman Reigns, who's still there, spears The Rock on the ramp and spends the next minute beating the crap out of The Rock. He is killing him. He's throwing his fist down, throwing him against the barricade where there's that like little steel part on it, little lines. Rock is hurt. Roman, maybe let's even cut him open. Why not? Make The Rock bleed. Whatever. Roman can't believe that The Rock is back. His cousins just turned on him, and now you have The Rock entering the Royal Rumble. Are you kidding me? This has been rumored forever, but now I'm looking at it right now, and no, this can't happen. Roman Reigns spits on The Rock, flips off the crowd, goes backstage. Cody Rhodes is sitting there like, so what happens now? The Rock is down. Cody Rhodes is standing there alone in the Royal Rumble, and the clock counts down from 10 for the final entrant in the Royal Rumble match. Listen, I could have put Randy Orton here, and maybe having Randy Orton come back as a return would be big, but it's so much more underwhelming than The Rock coming back. And I feel like there's nothing that's going to be less, there's not going to be anything more, there's not going to be a bigger moment than The Rock returning. You know what I mean? So I want to replicate that feeling of shock, and hopefully not take away from the momentum that we've built up so far in the Rumble with the excitement. You know what I mean? So I think Randy Orton's return would be cool, but it'd be like, oh, it's just, it's Randy Orton. Hey, he's back. Like, cool. I want this to be big. So my number 30 is John Cena. John Cena comes out at number 30. Like, what is going on? The final three in the Royal Rumble are Cody Rhodes, The Rock, who's dead right now, and John Cena. Let's let Cody and Cena just fight for 5 minutes. Why not? 5 to 7 minutes, maybe. Because Rock is down. I'm not going to book the whole Cody and Cena thing, but I think it would be cool for Cena to come back, have a little thing with Cody. Can Cena win the Rumble? No. Cody Rhodes eliminates John Cena. And as this is happening, The Rock is getting up to his feet. He limps to the ring. Cody Rhodes has fought from number 14 in this Rumble. You got an injured Rock and an injured Cody in the final two. Who is going to WrestleMania here? I think it's a pretty unpredictable final two, honestly. I think it's too early for Cody. I think Cody coming back this night, and winning and already getting pushed into the steam without having any other feuds besides Seth Rollins. I think some more time needs to go by before Cody wins the championship. I think it would be a bigger deal if Cody spent a little more time, maybe another year, before going to WrestleMania to win the WWE championship. So after, however long they want to go back and forth, The Rock eliminates Cody Rhodes. I spent the whole Rumble, making the crowd not completely, hopefully, turn against Cody Rhodes, but make him definitely the less favorite to The Rock, because right now the crowd is super behind Cody, and I don't want, somebody to be the bad guy here. So I want people to want The Rock to win, but still like Cody, and The Rock does win, making it The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. I hope that all of this made sense. I think the MJF cameo is something that would be very fun and unpredictable. It would be a huge story that would probably go for the entire year once he goes back to AEW, and then hopefully when he goes to WWE in 2024, especially, which it looks like. So if you're already out the door, you might as well listen. You want to be in the Rumble? Go ahead. We'll make a thing out of it. You know what I mean? We got the whole Cody Rhodes return storyline, the Fiend return. Braun Strowman's back, but you fought the Fiend, got eliminated by the Fiend. I just thought it'd be a cool thing to kind of tie the knot on. You got, the slow Cody heel turn a little bit, the start of the the bad guy turn. You got Brock Lesnar and the Fiend sitting up for a match at WrestleMania. You got what else do we have here? We had so many things. The Rock and Roman Reigns, making their thing. John Cena is back. Maybe he can have a match at WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes. That would be something cool. I think that this is something that people would be excited for. I really do. And I know this is my first take. It's my first time ever doing something like this. So forgive me if I fumbled a little bit and kind of started on everything. It's just, my first take. And I'm not going to really edit this that much except for adding maybe some pictures in here. So let me know what you guys think. Is this the best Rumble ever? I personally think, yeah, maybe. I don't know. But that's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think about this booking in the comments below. I will see you guys on Saturday for the first podcast review back, and that is the Clash at the Castle review live here on the Small Life Wrestling Podcast channel. We'll see you later, everybody. I didn't press stop recording. Okay.